Well, I had my son's 15th birthday party this weekend, meaning my entire basement now smells like a homeless encampment in the aftermath. And I haven't been able to get a damn thing done other than spend money all weekend on sugar and other pointless means of temporary entertainment. So I was planning on spending my Sunday afternoon doing something I want to do, like going to the gym and working on my truck. That was until this story popped up on my Twitter feed. So here we go. In a startling new poll result, Donald Trump, the Orange Man, has tripled his lead over Governor Ron DeSantis following Thursday's indictment news. Many pundits predicted that the indictment indeed would help Trump in the 2024 GOP primary contest. Some, including former Trump Attorney General Bill Barr, claimed that the boost to Trump is the motive of the indictment in the first place. Very interesting. Senator Ted Cruz called it a, quote, enormous political gift for Trump. Here's a clip of that sleazeball deep state frontman Bill Barr. You know, I know he's mad as hell because if our beloved Orange Man gets back in there, he's going to sound off on Bill's corrupt, sawed-off, fat, slimy ass. Anyways, here's the clip.
Bill Barr, former Attorney General, twice Attorney General, former friend and cabinet colleague. Bill, thank you for coming on. Just start off, just tell me your impressions about this whole story. You heard my riff. I know you were talking to Andy McCarthy in National Review. What are you thinking here, Bill Barr?
Well, I agree with most of what you said, Larry. Now, obviously, we don't have the indictment, so there's a little bit of speculation involved. But based on the news reports, if they're accurate, this is an abomination. It's the epitome of the abuse of prosecutorial power to bring a case that would not be brought against anyone else. They are going after the man, not a crime. And the legal theory, frankly, is pathetically weak. The case is held together by, chicken wire and paper clips and rubber bands. It's a lousy case. It's a shame. It's a shameful episode in our history where this local prosecutor is trying to affect the political process by bringing this case.
This is politically driven, as you suggested. I think we all know that, or at least conservatives all know that. What is this tattered legal theory? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, according to news reports, the threshold crime is false business records, apparently reporting payments that were made to reimburse Michael Cohen, who had paid off Stormy Daniels, and the characterization of those payments as legal payments. And the claim is that that's false and therefore violated a misdemeanor statute in the first instance against false documents. I actually don't think that's a valid claim in this case because the statute actually requires that it be done with the intent to defraud. So if you have false business records, and you're committing insurance fraud or some other kind of fraud where some value is taken from somebody else and you falsely get value in your own name, then the false records would be a misdemeanor. But I don't understand the basis for a fraud claim here. But then they take this misdemeanor, which also has a problem with the statute of limitations, and they try to shoehorn it into a felony by claiming that the reason the documents were falsified, was to cover up another crime. In this case, they're assuming that the payments were a campaign finance violation because they were effectively a contribution to the Trump campaign. I can tell you that's not the law. I don't think that's how the Justice Department would view it. It wasn't brought by the Justice Department during the Trump administration, but even after the Trump administration left, there was no inhibition on the Department of Justice to bring this federal claim if they thought it was valid, and it was never brought. So aside from that, I think it's quite clear under the law that payment, I'm going to call it hush money. I don't like that term, but payments of hush monies to keep, affairs or other things like that secret are not inherently unlawful. The question under the statute is, was it a campaign contribution? I think the law is quite clear it is not. And in fact, I think Merrick Garland, when he was a D.C. Circuit judge, wrote an opinion along these lines relating to Senator Craig, Larry Craig. But put that aside. Under the statute, it would be a personal payment, a payment of a personal expense, and that is not a violation of the statute if it's the kind of payment that would have been made even apart from the campaign. And I think there's a compelling argument here that when you're dealing with a private company that's named after its founder, it's an eponymous company, Trump, of course there would be payment to protect the reputation of the owner of the corporation. So I think it's a weak case altogether. Unfortunately, I think it's going to accomplish what I think its political purpose, which is to inject chaos into the Republican process. I actually think probably the governing intent here is to help Trump and have all the news focused on this kind of stuff for the next couple of years, and turn the Republican primary into a circus.
Predictions were met or exceeded in polling, with the newest from Yahoo/YouGov, the first major survey taken after the indictment just days ago. Trump is leading DeSantis 57 to 31%, a huge 26-point lead that triples the previous result of this survey a mere 2 weeks ago. At that time, Trump was ahead of DeSantis by just 8%, at 47% to 39%. Now, because this is 2023/1984 land we're living in, Yahoo can't just leave it at that. With a 100% positive poll or story for Trump, they need to find something to put a negative spin on things, so here we go. Yahoo points out on whether Trump should get another term if convicted. The results aren't as favorable, because of course they're not. The survey asked, quote, if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime in this case, do you think he should be allowed to serve as president again in the future, unquote. Among all respondents, just 31% said yes, while 52% said no, he should not. Among Republicans, the number was upside down, with 56% saying yes and 24% no, with 20% unsure. So that's a 12% difference between yes and not saying yes, I guess. Yahoo also added, quote, when asked if they think Donald Trump did or did not falsify business records to conceal a hush money payment to a porn star, less than half of Republicans, 48%, are confident that he did not. Another 17% say he did, and a whopping 35% say they are not sure. The poll was conducted March 30th through 31st among U.S. adults and has a margin of error of plus 3.3%. This indictment, of course, did come at a really bad time if you are a really popular governor, sitting on the sidelines, pushing books, and constantly flirting with big money donors and the right-wing media. Oh, and toying with all of your supporters with the idea of running for president. But hey, at least you felt right in line this time around when the indictment was officially announced by immediately, almost too quickly, coming out with a perfectly scripted, donor-endorsed announcement that you won't be helping with the extradition of Trump. So brave indeed. Alrighty folks, that's about it for this one. It's 70 degrees outside and I am going to go partake in those temperatures. Most of this came by way of Mediaite. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.